Hello, Richard. Can you hear us?
Yes, very well.
Thank you very much for joining us. So, the first question will be about today's signing of the Accord on Eurasian Economic Union on behalf of Armenia. What are the consequences for Armenia of this step? What are the benefits and the risks?
Well, clearly the consequences are very serious. The benefits, if there are any, remain unexplained and unexplored. The negative economic repercussions and the political impact of only contributing to further Armenian overdependence on Russia. These are all serious mistakes by the Armenian government. The good news is that despite today's agreement in Minsk, Armenian membership in the so-called Eurasian Union has been delayed until 2015, giving us time to rely on opposition from Kazakhstan and Belarus that may actually save us. Unlike Ukraine, we missed an opportunity and sacrificed our association agreement.
So, Richard, you're saying that there was some opposition on behalf of Belarus and Kazakhstan towards Armenia's joining the Eurasian Union. Can you elaborate on that? And why are these countries skeptical about Armenia joining the Eurasian Union?
Well, fortunately, there's two developments. First is unexpected opposition from Kazakhstan and Belarus, which are both unhappy that Russian President Putin is the one insisting that Armenia join.
So, Richard, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry we were cut off, but my second point was that in addition to opposition from Kazakhstan and Belarus, we see much less willingness by the Russians to expend or to invest the political capital needed to overcome opposition to Armenian membership. And this, at the end of the day, may save us from the Eurasian Union prison.
So, Richard, we can see that you are pretty critical towards the prospects of Armenia in the Eurasian Union, but what about the public opinion? What the majority of the Armenian population think of that? Are they supportive of the Eurasian Union, or would they rather see Armenia having closer relationship with the European Union and signing the association agreement with the EU?
Well, that's a very good question, because like Ukraine, much of Armenian civil society is generally pro-Western and pro-European, and we understand the difference. However, much of Armenian society is generally pro-Russian, and for the wrong reasons. They only are familiar with their Eurasian Union style trade bloc and are very unaware of the benefits of the European Union. What's interesting in the wake of Russian aggression in Crimea, in the wake of Russian invasion of Ukraine, is the fact that even among the pro-Russian Armenian population, this no longer means pro-Putin. So there is a difference and a division between being pro-Russian in Armenia and being pro-Putin. For that reason, Moscow may be very counterproductive in not treating Armenia as an ally and instead triggering a degree of backlash.
Richard, and how the situation in Ukraine influenced the public opinion and also the position of the Armenian leadership when it comes to joining the Eurasian Union and defining its foreign policy?
Well, interestingly, I was just in Kiev only 2 weeks ago, and we do a lot in Armenia to educate the Armenian population over developments in Ukraine. But to be honest, unfortunately, the immediate reaction to the Russian aggression, unfortunately, was an embrace of a strong Russia and unfortunately, a popularity of Putin. But that initial period has worn off when it seems that Armenia is now greatly worried that there are no limits to Russian aggression and that Russia over Nagorno-Karabakh may turn against Armenia. However, the Armenian government, even in the United Nations, made a strategic mistake by being pressured by Moscow to vote against Ukrainian territorial integrity. In terms of the Eurasian Union, we're trying hard to fight back, to resist this Russian pressure, but even if we become members, Without a land border with Russia, we may be able to overcome the challenge, but this is a strategic missed opportunity for Armenia.
And my last question, Richard, will be, how do you think is viable the whole Eurasian Union project, especially considering now the economic situation, dire economic situation of Russia and the sanctions imposed on Russia? How viable is this project, and especially for its other members except Russia?
This is a very important question because, to be honest, the Eurasian Union as a project of Putin. This is neither the first time nor the last time we've heard such an effort or project emanating from Moscow. I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical because Russia may have temporarily gained Crimea, but it has lost Ukraine for a very long time. And without Ukraine, this customs union, Eurasian Union, is much less viable. Combined with sanctions and what we see, a decline in the value of the ruble and a sudden drop in oil prices. For other states beyond Putin's direct control, like Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, for example, it's clear that this is not a viable effort. And finally, unlike the European Union, this Eurasian Union is based only on Russian pressure and coercion, very short term.
Thank you very much, Richard, for being with us, and I hope to see you in Kiev when you visit next time.
Thank you very much.